Welcome back aboard the polite ship, everyone. And this is Amusing Amusements, a Minecraft theme park built entirely on a mobile version of the game. And I'm going to be showing you guys every single ride today and giving you a full tour of all 3 piers in the theme park, as well as doing the skyline tour and the nighttime fireworks at the end. So stay tuned for all that. But with that being said, let's begin. Starting right up here at the entrance, you can see we have this big red and blue fence, which is kind of the color scheme of this place. And as you can see on the entrance, we have Amusing Amusements, which shows you where you're about to go. I don't know why there's a block of blue wool here. Then we have the parking lot and the security. And then we have tickets with this guy in here. And once I've gotten a ticket, this employees only thing, I really didn't build anything back here. It's really just for show. And then when we come into the entrance to the park, we go down the staircase in this tunnel. There's a ton of tunnels leading all around the park that I'll show you in another video if you guys want me to. Anyways, then we have the Skyline Tour elevator that leads up to the Skyline Tour, but we're going to do that at the end of the day. And then we have the gift shop once we actually get into the park. So this is where you can buy all these things. As you can see, I'm already wearing an Amusing Amusements t-shirt. I have the tickets, by the way, as you can see. And, yeah, you can buy a bunch of other stuff here, too. That's the gift shop. Then we go up here. It says, Welcome to Amusing Amusements. And then here's the map of the full park. Now, the whole park in total has 3 piers. Those being Adventure Pier. We walk over here. Fun Pier, and then if we walk back over here, Dooney's Pier. So it's time for a tour of each pier, starting off with Adventure Pier, which is themed to a Wild West town. This theme is pretty much immediately apparent when you walk right in. Now here we have the lockers, which we really don't need anyway, because it's not like things can just exit our inventory in the game. Those are just for show. And yeah, we basically got the full pier over here. All these buildings are the same Wild West town style kind of like buildings, if you get what I mean by that. So we have all the things up here. I'm going to show you every single ride later. So I'll show you, there's some food. I'll show you what that big building over there is for. But there's also a little area over here where you can go up different layers for rides. But there's one thing I want to show you here. There's another restaurant up here. It's called Miner's Diner, and this gives you a view into one of the roller coasters, which I will explain later when we actually go on that ride. Here's the food. And then we can go back down and then come back up again to go to another ride that I will talk about later. So there's not much on that side, though, so that's pretty much it for that part. So we're going to head back here to Crow Rock Canyon, which has a whole story behind it. Basically, the story of Crow Rock Canyon is, in this little wild western town, there's these 3 friends, Selena, Simon, and Steve, who are dedicated to protecting the town at all costs. So they're basically like the town's police service, like the sheriffs and everything. Oh yeah, and here's the saloon. There was a saloon back there. So, as you can see, there's a couple different rides. They have a couple different things that they use to get around, however. These futuristic vehicles that they use to get around. They have these light speed racers, which are basically just Tron bikes if you turn them into cars. Here's the saloon. And they also have the light bikes, which are basically just Tron bikes. They also have these little light rings that they can throw, and they will instantly act like a boomerang and come straight back to them. They can also collect anything you throw it at. So if you throw it at something, it'll collect that item and bring it back to you. They also can bounce, and they can also expand their size, and you can ride through them, and it gives you an energy boost, as we'll see later in Light Bike Race when we come back here. But basically, that's about it for the tour of Crow Rock Canyon, which means that's about it for the rideless tour of Adventure Pier. So I guess that means that we can start to make our way back to the front of Adventure Pier so we can go back again and go through and ride all the different rides. So if we make our way back to the front, we can start off with the ride that probably has the least theming in this pier, specifically When Pigs Fly. This is a drop tower that I built that really that really has to be activated in creative mode, and you can really only do it in creative mode. But I'm not very good with redstone and bouncing minecarts specifically and anything like that, so I just kind of use this. Now, obviously, there is a way you could use the new lead updates to make this, but I didn't. Anyways, then we're going to come over here to possibly the most boring ride in the entire park, the carousel, because all this ride does is spin you around, but it's a very, very small, point that it spins you around. So it's like, I forget this ride even exists half the time. It's literally just a carousel, especially because of how far back it is, too. Anyways, then we can come up here to get to some of the cooler rides, such as the Big Dipper, which is, of course, themed to the star constellation, the Big Dipper. We shoot up here, we shoot up there, and then we go right back down again. That's one of the more fun ones, I'm going to say, in this pier. And that's why I have minecarts, which you now finally figured out, because I have to place the minecart back every single time I get out of the ride. Anyways, I think I'm just going to finish up with this section for now. Going up here to the level where Miner's Diner is for 10 Timer. 10 Timer is basically this ride that goes around 10 times. But in order to even start the ride, you actually have to make sure the other minecart isn't there anymore. And that's because when you ride this thing, you kind of just have to take a wild guess of when you're going to be at the door to the exit, and then just jump out right there. So after this thing goes around 10 times, you can jump out of the minecart, and it'll just keep going until the next time you ride. Again, so basically just like that. I kind of clipped through the floor there, but that's fine. Anyways, going past Miner's Diner and up to my favorite ride in the park, the Galapagos. This is without a doubt my favorite ride in the park. And you'll be able to see why once we get on it. This is also the biggest coaster in the park, so... And if it were in real life, I would definitely ride it. Like, look at how big this ride is. But anyways, here's the ride. So you go up this lift hill here. You're on top of the park now. This is the tallest roller coaster in the park, but only because it has that extra height from being on top of the hill. Gets that extra height boost because it's on top of the hill. But as you can see, this ride is also really long too. So that also has part of the reason too. We do a little helix here. And then we go straight down into the ocean. We come straight back up again. And then we make our way back up and around the corner. And now we're back on the regular area where the rest of the track is. We spin around here. And then we make our way back to the offloading area. So yeah, in my opinion, Galapagos is without a doubt the best ride in this park. And you won't be able to convince me otherwise. Not even with Twister, which I am pretty sure is the next ride we are going to do. This is Twister, the wooden roller coaster here at the park. So let's go ahead and ride it. Now, as you might have noticed earlier, I wrote Twist on the coaster instead of Twister. That's because I didn't have enough room. So the only other word that made sense would be twist, so I just put that. And as you can see, we go through this little thing up top here, and then... well, the ride is over, that's it. So we just place the minecart back on the other side, and then we make our way to our next ride, Mando's Runaway Mine Train.
This is the ride that you can see from Miner's Diner. So if we look back here, when we go up, you can see the view into Miner's Diner. This one goes outside and inside. And it's themed to, well, a runaway mine train in a mine that's owned by some guy named Mando. Don't know why that's his name. Don't ask. Anyways, now we're headed to Suspicious Sam's Haunted Shed. Perfect time to do it because it's night. This is the dark ride, haunted house ride in this pier. And Get Out. This is another one of my favorites. I love Suspicious Sam's Haunted Shed. I know I sound a little bit sick right now, but I trust you I'm not. I just got sick and I just got over it. My voice just always sounds like this. That was the jump scare at the end of the ride, and there we go. That was Suspicious Sam's Haunted Shed. Moving on to getting stuck in another cobweb. Moving on to making our way to Crow Rock Canyon. For the first attraction here, Light Bike Race. This is the one where you ride on the light bikes and try to catch all the light rings that have been magnetized up to their full size. So if you ride through them, you get a boost. Light Bike Dash is a really good one. So here's the launch. Just splashing in the water. We went past the Crow Rock there, but I didn't look up. Now we head backwards. And there we go. That's Light Bike Race. It's a pretty fun one. I like it. This is one of the newer ones. I think it's the second newest ride that I've built in this park. As you can see, we're now moving on to Lightspeed Racers Cannon Dash, which is the ride that takes you on a Lightspeed racer, races you through the canyon, and the track actually lights up as you go past it, as you saw in that first clip. You can kind of, I guess, see it here if you look down, but yeah, that was pretty much the ride. It's a pretty short ride, but it's pretty fun. I do like it, and I think that it's one of the better rides at the park, I think. It's definitely not the carousel, that's for sure.